Trump is wearing America down. That is the title of an article in today's Atlantic. I'm recording this on Saturday, June 7th, by one of my favorite columnists for the Atlantic, Adam Serwer. I've been reading that guy for a decade. That's the title of his article. Less than a decade ago, the Trump administration's travel ban sparked an outcry. Today, people seem far more willing to accept such a policy. Everybody remember the protests at the airports? I went to a dozen of them here in San Francisco. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Again, if you don't know me, my name is Hawk. I'm a trial attorney in the Bay Area for 26 years, and I'm into politics and news and the law. If you like this video, please click like, please leave a comment, please subscribe to my page. It is free to do so. So this article was published yesterday, June 6th, and it starts out as follows. The first time President Trump tried to institute a travel ban to prevent large numbers of immigrants and visitors from reaching the United States back in 2017, massive protests erupted at major airports across the country. I went to a bunch of them. This time, at least so far, there has been nothing of the sort. He signed another executive order, another travel ban order on Wednesday. The disparity in reaction helps illustrate how habituated Americans have become to a president who wields his power with discriminatory intentions. This past Wednesday night, Trump announced he was barring travelers from Afghanistan, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Myanmar, the Republic of Congo, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. The administration is also imposing partial restrictions, which will prevent people from coming to the United States to emigrate or study, but will allow tourist travel on people from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Jesus. The administration says it implemented the ban in order to prevent future terror attacks in the aftermath of last Sunday's anti-Semitic terror attack on a rally in support of Israeli hostages in Gaza. The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visa. We don't want them, Trump said in a video announcing the new ban. That alleged attacker is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa. Let's go back to our list. Afghanistan, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Myanmar, Republic of Congo, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Nope, no Egypt. No Egypt. Inspired by a terror attack a week ago that was committed by someone from Egypt, and Egypt is not on the list. All righty. Okay, the Adam Serwer read my mind here a little bit. The alleged attacker is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa. Egypt, however, is not on the travel ban list. Ostensibly because Egypt and the U.S. cooperate closely on security matters, as Trump hinted yesterday. In other words, the alleged perpetrator's home country was not targeted in a travel ban that was supposedly instituted to protect American Jews from anti-Semitic violence. Of course, not even a more aggressive ban could totally protect Jews from such violence, especially not when the president himself has a history of inspiring it. The administration did not offer another more credible explanation for the travel ban. That is, that it is targeting countries that do not properly vet travelers and that have a high percentage of visa overstayers, as in the case of the suspect in the Colorado attack. But that explanation hints at another motive. With this new travel ban, the Trump administration is furthering a demographic engineering project intended to exclude immigrants whom the president finds undesirable because of their ethno-religious backgrounds. Trump has referred to Latin American and African nations as shithole countries, while pining for immigration from places such as Norway. During the 2024 presidential election, Trump said that immigrants have brought, quote, bad genes into the country. Trump's chief policy advisor, Stephen Miller, whom other Trump officials treat with deference, has promoted the idea that America was ruined when, in the 1960s, it removed racist immigration restrictions that had partially inspired the Nazis. Which reminds me, in the 30s, leading up to World War II and the Holocaust, Adolf Hitler had expressed great admiration for how we had dealt with our Native American problem here in what would eventually become the United States, i.e., slaughtering tens of millions of them and stealing their land. An obvious explanation for these countries having many visa overstayers is that many of these nations are in the midst of conflicts or are run by governments with horrible human rights records. As Mark Hetfield, the president of the refugee settlement group HIAS, told the Washington Post, those are exactly the kinds of countries that produce the refugees and, in particular, produce refugees that the United States would have an interest in resettling. The logic of the travel ban is such that actual refugees from persecution around the world won't count as refugees in the eyes of the United States government because of the actions of the very governments persecuting them in the first place. Furthermore, the idea that the governments are not to be trusted seems entirely arbitrary. After all, Trump has made only one exception to his blanket stop to the U.S. refugee program: the white South Africans he accepted as refugees from a campaign of white genocide by the South African government. If, as Trump claimed, the South African government is genocidal, how can his administration consider its security screening system to be accurate? And if it doesn't consider it trustworthy, why is it accepting white refugees only from that country while other refugees are barred because of their government's shortcomings? Spoiler alert, it's about race. The simple answer is that these white refugees are the closest thing to immigrants from Norway that Trump can find. Those fleeing actual persecution from nations targeted are not white enough to meet the criteria for Trump's sympathy and therefore be granted refuge in the United States. Less than a decade ago, Trump's sweeping ban would have sparked an outcry, and it did. But in the intervening years, the Supreme Court has given this discriminatory approach its blessing, and Trump won re-election with a plurality of the vote. I was hoping to get through this article without something, prompting me to discuss our electorate in 2024. I'll skip it. The number of disastrous things the administration is doing makes prioritizing difficult for its opponents. But there is also the reality that Trumpism is a kind of authoritarian autoimmune disease, one that has been ravaging the body politic for so long that there are fewer small d democratic antibodies left to fight it off. Excellent analogy. Always, always, always read everything that Adam Serwer writes at The Atlantic. Please go subscribe to The Atlantic and The Bulwark and Talking Points Memo. Again, my name's Hawk. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click like, please leave a comment, please subscribe to my page. It is free. And everybody, please, please, please be safe this weekend because ICE is out in the streets.